You run your own company now, which is the Massive Creative Intelligence Agency. Can you tell us what it is and what it does?
Yeah, I think that, throughout my career, I've been developing this methodology and really honing in on what added value I could bring to a company. Not just a traditional, A&R type of role, but I'd always been working towards doing something that would really set myself apart and really, you know, deliver what I could deliver that was kind of specialized.
Mm-hmm.
So just with Massive, it just became apparent to me that working for one major label, in a contractual relationship was limiting what we could actually do with what we were discovering. I mean, we were discovering way more than one label could sign or do anything with.
That's interesting. Okay.
And so we saw a lot of things, go to other labels that we couldn't continue to be involved with. I saw a lot of my scouts become artist managers or successful in other aspects of their career development. I couldn't continue to nurture them. We couldn't continue to help them because I was contractually obligated to one company. And, that
becomes limited.
Yeah,
Right.
That wasn't really working for how fast I was evolving this process and watching what could happen.
Okay.
So that's where, Massive really came to mind. Like, let's start a company where we can actually cultivate our talent scouts and help these students develop and hone their skills, and then help them, find the opportunities for employment and be a part of that process. So not only did I want to develop the intelligence aspect and become a market intelligence or research company that was relied on and by not just the music industry, but by the brands and larger corporations as well that need that information and want something sound intelligence wise that they can start building their marketing budgets around, or ensuring that they're on the right path with the product or whatever. So combining those two things it was clear to me that there weren't as many jobs in the music industry. Things were changing and transitioning, and it looked grim. It looks a lot better today. But But at the time when I was starting the company, it was like, wow. I mean, you know how many A&R people
Oh, God, yeah.
there are right now.
Yeah.
You know how many jobs there actually are
Right.
at major labels. And, not everyone that wants to do A&R is going to get an A&R job. But developing that skill set is a pretty critical skill to have, actually, even if you're not doing A&R. I mean, you can apply that skill and that business acumen to pretty much any creative role, any business role. Being able to identify a trend or being able to identify something that is meaningful for, business success, that's a critical business skill. So learning how to do that through a creative process, through the love of music or fashion or trends, it's really interesting to the kids. And so I think that this was like a real pivotal point for me when I realized how many kids were interested in this type of program and how few opportunities were out there. So that's really where I took Massive, was developing an experiential education program that we could work with universities or work with university age kids that were interested in this and help them understand that they could build this skill, and then we could help them have potential job opportunities brought to them, not just through music though, but through other creative sources or other creative roles at major corporations.
You've mentioned the other major corporations. Are you finding in your own work that major corporations today have more of an interest in things that are trending, in music, in brands, I guess, linking up with musical artists?
Yeah.
More so today than ever?
Absolutely. And I think that, part of the issue that brands and corporations are discovering is that they have this social media marketing black hole that they're just throwing money into. And they're not exactly sure how to measure the success of that or where they should be directing their focus,
Okay.
Or their time or their staff or whatever. And I think that's where Massive has become very, very interesting to these companies. And that's where our scouts and our student programs have become very, very interesting to these companies because social media marketing, the black hole, the money pit where they're just throwing money hoping that they're going to engage people or get super users or, get their own super fans. They can't measure that really. And what they want is real-time feedback. They want real engagement, right? So being able to talk to the kids or being able to see the video reports or the intelligence reporting that our kids are putting into the platform is real-time engagement for them. And then if the companies or brands or executives want more information from a specific student or from a specific aspect of intelligence that we are curating, then they can dive in deeper. But at least they can see a view into whether or not something is effective for them.
And where it is effective.
That's right.
And where it needs work or where they want to have work. So in other words, you're saying the metrics and the tools exist today to almost micromanage, as opposed to just throwing money into social media, really honing the social media and focusing it to a specific target.
Yeah, I think we're putting things under a microscope for them and giving them a view from a user base that's engaged with us because they're learning something and we're there for them. We're helping them develop their skill set, right? And so the feedback is truth. The feedback that the intelligence is providing to our corporate clients or to record labels or to whoever is truth because these kids, they're trying to get jobs.
Paula, I'm curious in lieu of this discussion that we're having, in your mind, has success in the music industry been redefined today?
In an A&R capacity? Yeah, I think that there are more songwriters / producer A&R executives now more than there have been in many years. Like I think there was a cycle when there were just a lot of passionate people that didn't really have songwriting skills or hadn't really produced music or there was that group of people and I was in that group that I don't have songwriting expertise. I haven't produced things. I was really just an executive that was kind of shepherding the process,
right.
And working with other people. And I think that when A&R was at its fullest capacity, when the biggest regime of 500, 600 plus executives in the U.S. It was predominantly people like me that were just passionate and good executives and could shepherd the projects. But now I think the fewer executive roles that are available are being allocated to real record makers, real people with real experience in the studio and in songwriting.
Interesting, yeah.
Tricky, Chris
going to Epic, Luke going over to Sony with his label. You have many other those situations. Motown hiring Neo, and other people who are record makers and actually out there
and artists too.
That
are moving into executive landscape. I think that's a trend we're seeing right now, but I think that's a positive trend.
Okay. More so than the traditional role that we've seen in the past.
I think so.
Okay.
And I think that's the evolution of the role. Neo and all those guys, they're not gonna do research. They're gonna base it on a very artistic connection. I would assume for the most part. But then I think the other group of A&R people that you're seeing are also very research driven, even if they don't admit to it.
Right. No, most of it is today.
Yeah.
Very much so. Paul, I want to thank you so much for coming and doing
You're
this.
welcome.
I really appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.